I want to show you a drill and an exercise that you can do just 2 minutes per day. You can do it a couple of times a day. You can do it more than 2 minutes. But even if you just do it for 2 minutes, I can just about guarantee you would definitely get better. So you can do this drill, this exercise without even strumming, like without making a noise. You can do it without even a guitar. You can do it in your office, your dorm room, wherever you're at. So if you're a beginner guitar player, maybe even an intermediate guitar player, you've been dabbling for a couple of years, this is usually one of the biggest problems I see. And personally, it was one of the biggest problems I had when I was learning to play guitar in my early years. I had no idea what I was doing. So the biggest thing is switching chords fluidly, smoothly, and just effortlessly. So when I was learning, even my first few years, I would always be looking down at the chords and looking down at my fingers to make sure the fingers were on the right strings for the right chord. And I would make sure I was holding each string down hard enough. And it just always made for those just small, awkward, and just like noticeable pauses if you're strumming. Like you're on the C chord and you have to look down to get to this E minor chord. Like you can just hear and see that that's just it's noticeable. It's a little awkward, the little pause there. It doesn't make things smooth. So in order to get better at making these chord changes smooth and effortless, you can just do this easy drill. I used to do this literally all the time with a guitar, without a guitar. If we're just playing chords in the key of G, I would just go from chord to chord. G, C, D, E minor, D over F sharp if you want to. Mix up the chord progression, go E minor, C, D, G, E minor, C, D, G. And that way you're getting your fingers moving in different positions and in different directions, because you're not always going to be going from the C to the G to the D to the E minor. So what we're doing here is we're building muscle memory. And the great thing about this is you're only really building muscle memory with these two fingers here. We're keeping these two fingers locked in on that high E string and the B string. So we're just really kind of building that muscle memory with these two fingers. And then if you wanted to hear it, if you could just add a simple down strum for each one. Mix up the chord progression. And the faster you go, it's gonna force your hands and your hand and your fingers to get in the right places for those chords. So again, you can do this even without a guitar. I remember I would just be sitting in my work office and I would just be, keeping my imaginary, just my two fingers like that and just moving my pointer and my middle finger between the G, C, D, E minor, G, C, D, E minor. And you could do it with chords in the key of C or in the key of D, so if we're playing in the key of C, C, F, G, A minor, just A minor, F, C, G, A minor, F, C, G. You're just building the repetition and you're building muscle memory. You're building new patterns for where your fingers are going to go. Same thing if you wanted to play in the key of D. Use those chords in the key of D. D, A, B minor, G. D, A, B minor, G. So by doing this just a couple of minutes per day, you're building muscle memory and you're building in those repetitive patterns for each chord. Because if you keep playing guitar for a while, I guarantee you're gonna play these chords thousands and thousands of times. So you're building in the muscle memory just a couple of times a day by doing this. And the other thing that this does, the less that you can focus on your chord changes, the less you have to worry about, where my fingers are going on each chord, the more you can focus on your strumming and on your rhythm, which is also challenging if you're a beginner or if you're an intermediate player. So the quicker and the sooner you get this muscle memory built on these chords, the sooner you can really start freeing your mind up to focus, okay, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, or whatever strum and rhythm you're working on. So definitely do this 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, however many times you want to do it. And I think it's definitely going to help you out.